Hey, Shabbat Shalom, man. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
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 And salute. Hey, check it out, man. It's another Freestyle Friday with your brothers from the Hopeful Elect. Y'all see the title, Starve Us Out. They trying to starve us out, man. Who is they? The world, everybody, man. They trying to come against the blacks and Hispanics of Negro descent and you natives, right? That was already over here. We was already over here. Yeah, y'all too, right? They trying to come against us. They trying to starve us out. So we're going to talk about that today, man. We're going to talk about some end times events, man, possible events, possible situations. We're going to watch a few videos to kind of just put our minds in that mindset so that we can, pray for more faith, pray that we'll be protected, and pray that, God will have us in the right situations at the right time, right? We got to have these things at the forefront of our mind and covet prophecy so that we will be ready. And so that the Most High God doesn't have this stuff happen to us like a thief in the night, right? I'm your brother Azrael, got the brother Denal, got the brother Obadiah, got your brother Isaiah, right? And, we're going to get into this lesson today. Before we get started with the actual lesson and the blowing of the shofar, I want to say we give all glory and honor and praise to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who sent his son as an instrument of salvation for the nation. And that nation is Israel, right? Shalom to the 12 tribes. Peace be unto you. Shalom to the cleavers. Peace be unto you. And to all that's going to watch this video, right? And to all that, come across our page. Thank you for fellowshipping. But without further ado, let's go ahead and play the shofar. All right, man. So I'm trying to figure out which video I want to start off with, man. I'm trying to figure out what video I want to start off with. We start off with this video right here, man. So this is Pastor Dow. He does have an Israelite community, Straightway Ministries, and they have homesteads and they have communities all throughout the South and I think the Midwest. I know they have like two places in Georgia. They have like a few that's in Tennessee. They got some in Alabama, Wisconsin, stuff like that. Yeah. And you gotta he's one of these men that, like a lot of these other camps and churches that have the Lord has blessed to grow big, you gotta commend them, right? We may have disagreements with a lot of these people. You may have a lot of agreements with a lot of these people. Nevertheless, you have to understand that the Most High God has his hand on these men, right? Just want to go over this video, fair use, because I don't know how this brother, this elder, I don't know how he is with sharing content, and I don't know how YouTube is. So we always say fair use. Y'all see the title of his video, Grid Down. Grid Down. Some things that come to mind is like an EMP attack. Do you guys know what an EMP attack is, right? For those that don't know what EMP is, let's see what AI has to say. EMP is a burst of electromagnetic energy, electricity, right? That can damage or destroy electronic equipment. It can destroy your phone. It can wipe out your TV and your computer and your laptop and your tablet. It can wipe out your Wi-Fi. It can wipe out your electric vehicle. It can wipe out so many things that cause the earth to go around, right? That cause your country to function, right? It can wipe out batteries, right? It can wipe out machinery, right? So an EMP attack is very serious, by the way. An EMP attack, man, if that was to happen, it would go back to the Ice Age. He's going to talk a little bit about it. Let's check it out.
It's a conversation. And
And it's something that really truly to be thought on and never to let slip. Um, Talking to some people and I said, let me ask you a question. Right now, we assume that the grid is never going to go down. We all are aware of EMPs, electromagnetic process. We understand that. We all are familiar with this. But have you even thought about what the United States of America would look like if the whole entire electrical grid went down for 30 days?
Whoo!
We got for a month, right?
The
We got
purge.
to think about these things, man. I know the government shutdowns going on right now and things of that nature. You got to think, man. It's a lot of stuff that's funded by the government, right? And who's to say if something was to happen like that for 30? Can we survive mentally and spiritually for 30 days in the ice age, in the dark ages? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, man, y'all remember TikTok went down for not even 24 hours and folks was out here crying.
That is true. I make my money from this. I quit my job to do this, to do TikTok. How can they take us?
But they was crying because TikTok was down for less than 24 hours. Imagine anything digital, electrical being just gone for 30 days, bro. People were probably gonna be, when the power come back on, bro, you're gonna find so many people that committed suicide, bro.
Bro, not only that, bro. I remember when Hurricane Helene had happened and it hit bad down here, bro. The power was out. I can't remember how long it was out, but people were losing their mind, bro. People trying to. I mean, one time, our electricity was out, so we had went to my parents' house. That's when the hurricane. That's when there were trees everywhere and everything. And we went to our parents' house to stay. And one of the Edomites I worked with, he actually had came around and he was looking for something. And when I opened the door, he was trying to peek in the house. Be like, "Oh, y'all have a generator in there? Like, y'all have a generator? I hear a generator." So it's like, yeah, man. And I think it was only been like 2 or 3 days. So if that happened 2 or 3 days, people losing their mind, man, don't know what to do. Ain't no Wi-Fi. People, you know what I'm saying? Don't know what to do. 30 days. It's gonna be purge, bro.
Them generators, them generators will sell out fast, and them generators are expensive. And some people can't stand to see somebody living comfortably and they struggling, right? So, like the brother said, man, things can go south in a matter of days, let alone a whole month. And so, this is the thing too. Another thing to think about is the Most High God has been through these curses. He has been shielding us. It's crazy. It sounds like chastisement is actually love, because guess what? The people in the community of our people, the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Negro descent that we know is Israel and Judah, right? Those people, man, we've been living check to check. We've been living fear of eviction. We've been evicted. We've been living with. I just watched a video. A brother said, "Hey, you know what? You know the thing is." Some people, you grow up and become adult and you realize they don't know what struggle is. He said, man, when I was young, there was no food in the refrigerator, and I would still go outside and play basketball with my friends and come back home knowing there was no food in the refrigerator, but still open the refrigerator like food was going to magically appear, and he was like, I was fasting, but I wasn't trying to fast for any spiritual or religious reasons. He said, I was fasting because there was nothing to eat. He said, that's a different type of living. And a lot of people, it shows a lot of people that that y'all are really good. You may be going through something, but and he said, I really wish everybody could go through something like that, so they know, like, no matter what they go through as an adult, they're really good if they have a place to sleep and some food to eat. And so that's something to think about too, is that the Most High God's chastisement on us and these curses is kind of preparing us for perilous times. I know it sucks to go through the things that we're going through, but and I talked to this to my secretary. I got a secretary. She's Jake, and she was like, a lot of people's talking about this government shutdown and they struggling and everything. Our people. She was like, our people. She rubbed her skin. We've been going through this, so it's kind of just like a normal day to us. We're like, it's we've been oppressed and we've been X. I was like, yeah, man. We've always known how to make do. She said, yeah, we always know how to make do with a smile on our face. You know, they just kind of, they don't know, they're not comfortable. But you know, we've always lived like this, and the chastisement of the Lord has allowed us to be comfortable even in a state of chaos. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, yeah, man, that's facts, man, because you know a lot of our people, like we used to a lot of things, like certain things. We go through stuff. A lot of us, we call upon the Lord. You know, we say we're gonna give it to the Lord, and you know we get through it. But these other nations, you know, chiefly Esau, they panic when they're not used to these things happening when they can't eat, or when they Wi-Fi not working on their phone and things like that. A lot of them ain't really used to that, man. So they start killing themselves, start cussing out their mama. You know what I'm saying? Doing all type of crazy stuff.
You may find yourself, for example, if the world were to shut down like that, you may find yourself in a room with some people of another nation, and your kids, they understand what it's like to fast. They understand what it's like to not, you know, have everything they want at a drop of a dime. They haven't been living in heaven. And so they may be looking at people of the other nation that are grown adults and be like, "Mommy, Daddy, why are they crying?" You know, because you know, it's normal to them. Right? They know how to put up with the hole in their stomach. They know how to put up with disappointment. They know how to put up with chastisement. And that's because the Lord has made sure that his people, his chosen, his elect have not fallen in love with this world. And he did it in a harsh way. But at the same time, he says, you know, be cheerful when you have been changed to a lower state, because he's doing it for a reason, right?
And that's something that, oh my bad.
Go ahead.
And that's something that a lot of people can't really seem to understand about our people. They're like, how they been down for so long and still down, and they able to smile and keep moving forward. A lot of these nations, a lot of these other people, they can't really understand us, man, because they look at it like, well, if that was me or my people and we went through slavery, we would have been extinct. You know, we wouldn't be no more of us. The sun would have killed us. We would, you know, I don't know how those black people be living in the ghettos and Section 8. I couldn't do it if I was them. I'd kill myself.
Hey, they all know that, man.
Yeah, they all know that, man. Facts.
They all know they you know what I'm saying? And even some of Jake, man, get like that. I couldn't live like that. You know, even some of Jake, and that's why not all Jake gonna make it, man, because we're not used to turning down jobs and being on the job hunt. We're not used to being homeless. We're not used to being hungry. We too used to being loud. We taking up the Babylonian or the American dream. But that's why the Most High God is trying us to see if we're gonna keep his commandments through persecution, because that's gonna be the telltale sign if we're gonna be able to, you know, handle the day of the Lord.
There will be so much death just because of the hospitals alone, and people plugged up in the hospitals and nursing rooms and nursing homes and you know, just that totally depend on it. The generators can't run forever.
I'm not really a cupcake.
The generators can't run from ever, man. What he's talking about is he's about to say it. Hold on.
You had people during that hurricane. You had people selling generators on the outside of on the back of their truck, bro. Those generators was going so quick, bro.
Yeah, they didn't know how long that power outage was gonna be.
If it's 30-day grid down, that means everything stops. Transportation stops. It may take a few days for it to stop, but within a week and a half, man, it's over with. And the trucks will stop running to the stores. The stores will no longer be replenished with food because, you know, after all, you know, they got us 100% totally dependent upon the system.
We're totally dependent on the system. That's a scary sight. Because you think about these hospitals, man. You know, back in the day, they might not have ventilators back in the day. You died. And the people were more callous or more used to that. But now we've gotten hope through medicine and through these machines, right? And so now we know we might got that family member that's been on that machine for 2 years. The grid go down, it's over with. You didn't get a chance to say goodbye. You didn't get a chance to make it up to the hospital because it's chaos outside. So, you know, a simple thing as an EMP attack, life as you know it is forever changed.
Yeah, man.
So I'm talking about.
Oh, I was gonna say, man, I remember Walking Dead, man. That show, The Walking Dead, in the beginning when it was good, and the hospitals, man, all hell breaking loose. It like people losing their mind, man. People running around like chickens with their head cut off. That's how it'd be, bro. And it'd be like The Purge. It'd be like Forever Purge, like that movie Forever Purge, man. People out here losing their mind. They don't know what to do.
In your own gardens, honey, be a hunter gatherer. You know, be a honey, be a hunter gatherer. They got us 100% totally dependent upon the system. You know, when I start talking about growing your own gardens, honey, be a hunter gatherer. You know, be a man of husbandry. Getting back to the old paths and the old ways. I thought about it.
The old past, the old ways, man. They didn't have grocery stores for real. They did what they had to do. They didn't back in the day, the old path was not so dependent. They didn't have electricity. They had candles, right? The old path was uncomfortable, but it was sustainable long term. It was not dependent on a source other than life itself. That's what we got to get back to, man. I'm gonna go ahead and play the next video. What is the next video?
Yeah, man, I feel like America also got us like they weakened us as a people, bro. Because like he was saying, we depend on them for everything. We go to them for everything. It's like anything that we need or want, it's at a click of a button. So that's why we need to, like the brother said, get back to those old ways, man. Because we can't depend on this place. This is falling. Call DoorDash, Uber Eats, all that.
The brother Obadiah sent this in the group chat. This is another Israelite group, Believers of the Way, started by this brother right here, Ratazan. This is an elder that later came on to BOW to add to the leadership at BOW, and they're just going over pretty much the title of this lesson, right? Starving us out, right? Starving, and how, they starved us out in the Bible. Let's take a look.
That's rough.
That's rough, man.
That's what they did in 70 AD when they closed the gates of Jerusalem so no product could come in, starve Israel out. See what I'm saying? That's warfare too. You just don't have to shoot a person. You can starve them. You shut off their assets and their means of survival. Man.
And the thing is, they can do that in so many different ways, man. They can lock down the country, nothing in or nothing out. This country lives off of imports. The trucks gonna stop. The grocery stores will lack. That's from the inside out. Now everybody panicking. This government can have a government shutdown, and now guess what? No benefits is being given out to people. Nobody's getting their government assistance. No Medicaid, no EBT, no WIC, no government assistance. Health, all of that. Some people's whole jobs, right? All of that gone from the inside out. An EMP attack from the inside out. Everything wiped. The grid's wiped out. Grid go down. So just like they saying back in the day, they would surround the city and starve them from the outside in. Now they can do it from the inside out. And we have no say so. We have been just caught in this world, this cycle of living. We wake up and we think everything's going to be the same every single day. It would be heartbreaking if we woke up and we didn't know where our family was. Our phones wouldn't turn on. Our cars wouldn't start. It would be heartbreaking. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, we all remember when COVID-19 happened in 2020. How everybody thought it was gonna be a normal day, and they woke up, and now you got this virus going on. Now people panicking, going to get tissue and trying to stack up on food and stuff. But it happened so fast, people weren't really truly thinking about it. It happened. It's the same thing with the EMP attack, with the government shutdown, with martial law. It can happen at any given time. So we can't let that slip our mind and just casually just go and treat every day like it's gonna be the same. Because one day it wouldn't. It couldn't. It could change.
And I know it's a lot of talk with conspiracy theorists and everything, and you don't want to always take everything as valid, and you got to fact check everything. But it's nice to have conversations like this. Why? Because even though these conversations could be fearful and can incite fear in you, it's good to have these conversations so that you can be prepared and be real with yourself and be honest with yourself. So even if nobody watched this video except for THE, at least we're having this conversation. So at least all of us, we can be prepared mentally. We can be prepared spiritually. We can build our faith up and be cognitive and aware of such things that could take place during our life, right?
You can see how that can hurt people. So then you see why the Most High has us glimpses of getting ready by making us fast once a year. You see,
right? And not only once a year, the thing about when people come into this truth, we all have experience of having such a high zeal, or a lot of us were fasting when we first came into this truth in this walk of obedience. We all got experience of fasting multiple days, whether it's 2 days, whether it's 3 days, whether it's a week or whatever. When you come into this truth, you got experience of fasting. That's going to come back and build your spirit up. It's going to build your faith up when you need it most, right? Another example, he mentioned 70 AD, but this really happened in Judith, right, with their water supply. So I want to read this real quick. We'll come back to this video, but I want to read this real quick because, like the brother said, the Most High God's getting us prepared even through fasting. Judith herself, if you're familiar with the story of Judith, right? If you're familiar with the story of Judith, she was fasting all the days of her life, correct? So guess what?
Days and Sabbath.
Right. Except for the feast days and the Sabbaths and the eves thereof, right? She was fasting. So guess what? When the whole town, when the whole city, everybody on the hill was panicking and they were tempting the Lord, right, with ultimatums, she was able to think critically. She was able to think clearly. She wasn't letting her spirit or her flesh interrupt her judgment because she had already been practicing fasting, right? While everybody else had holes in their stomach and were dying of thirst, she had already been practicing. So she was already used to it, right? She was spiritually, her faith was already there. So she was able to correct everybody in counsel, right? And that's why her counsel was so noted, right? But I want to just go over this tactic real quick because he mentioned 70 AD, they surrounded the city and starved us out, right? But in Judith, right, way before 70 AD, they did that as well when Assyria tried to attack us on the mountain, right? So if one of the brothers could read this in Judith chapter 7, we're going to start at verse 11.
Judith 7 and 11, it says, "Now therefore, my Lord, fight not against them in battle array, and there shall not so much as one man of thy people perish."
So the king of Assyria's captain or general, right, had set out to try to find a way to defeat the Israelites. And he got counsel and said, "Hey, look, you don't need to fight these people. Look where we at. We're at the bottom. We're at the bottom of the mountain. This is right. He's finna tell you, right? Let's read verse 12.
Verse number 12, it says, "Remain in thy camp,
Stay in thy place,
and keep all the men of thine army, and let thy servants get into their hands the fountain of water, which issueth forth of the foot of the mountain."
Right? He said, "Hey, look, we at the bottom of the mountain. This is where all their water supply is. They got to come down the mountain to get this water. We're going to be waiting right for them. We don't got to lose no men to no war." This is how these nations think, because they know they can't beat us in war. They know slavery was a once in a lifetime chance. Once they let us out, they know they're not putting us back in slavery. They know they can't fight against us. So they got to attack us because in a different way. So guess what? They knew what they were doing when they put us on government assistance and had us be Democrats and had us depend on the government for healthcare and for Obama phones and all that, because they knew they could pull the plug from us whenever they wanted to. They had us right where they wanted us. Right? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, yeah, we pay a water bill. They can turn our water off at any given time. Oh, that Israelite stay there at that address. Okay, he wanna keep serving his God. Turn his water off. Now your water the only one turned off. They got the power to do that though. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy.
And then lie and say, "Oh, we didn't know it was off."
Right.
They don't even care if you got babies or not. Right? Verse 13.
Verse 13, for all the inhabitants of Bethulia have their water vents. So shall thirst kill them.
So shall thirst kill them, right?
And they shall give up their city.
And they're going to give up their city. They're going to give up everything that they love so much. They're going to give it up because of food and water. Keep reading.
And we and our people shall go up to the tops of the mountains that are near. And
can you last 30 days? Can you last a month? Right? You got to, when them times come, you got to put in your mind, man, the children of Israel lasted 40 days in the wilderness straight. They did it twice, actually, in the wilderness. Keep reading.
And will camp upon them to watch that none go out of the city.
Right? That's what they're doing to our people, man. They're keeping a close eye on us, right? If too much of us not, falling out of the Democratic Party, they scrambling. They're like, oh, we got to keep them here because this is going to keep them in the government assistance, and this is going to X, Y, and Z, and But that's the lot that our people. That's the lot that we're in. The lot that we're in is pure, is poor, right? That word poor, I believe, comes from the word pur, right? That we see in purum, right? The whole point of impurum was that they put us in pure, which just pretty much means poverty, right? They put us in poverty so that, we couldn't function in society, right? Let's go back to this video real quick.
Guy, all lines up how the Most High is gearing us up for this situation. So he said, even children, you keep the day of atonement. He said, every soul must afflict themselves. It's not wise to have the babies and all that. Get out of here.
Yeah, it may not seem wise in the moment. It's a lot of Israelites that it may not seem wise. It may seem, you're doing too much. Nah, they don't have to do it. But it'll be wise in the day of trouble that they did it. Because now in the day of trouble, you know how much your kid can take. You know how much you have built your faith up and say, you know what, my kid, he's gonna last. She's gonna last because you've tried their spirit, you've tried their soul, you've afflicted their soul before, right? So that the wisdom doesn't always come right in the moment. The wisdom comes sometimes in the future, right? When you can't even see where you're gonna need it.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to do? What's your child going to do when there's no food at all? You better learn how to be spiritual because it's only going to take spiritual strength to get us through that. Yep. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. How many children?
Come on, man. Let me get the next video, man. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Where do I want to go next? All right, yeah, let's go to this video next. All right, our brother sent me this. We actually was at men's night with him. My brother sent this in a group chat. Pretty much, this is current. This is a few days ago, if not like a week or two ago, about what ICE is doing in Chicago, right? Not only to the Hispanics, but to the Negro.
What up, beautiful African family? This is your main man, Theo EJ Wilson with African Diaspora News. And unless you've been living under a rock, you know that ICE agents invaded that predominantly Black apartment complex in South Shore, Chicago. This was something else. I'm going to take you down a rabbit hole, and we're going to start with this little clip from the news that amongst the melee, a lot of people missed.
Fair use.
Name and my date of birth and asked me, did I have any warrants? And I told them no.
Asked if she had any warrants. She told them no.
She said she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m. Fisher says she was told if any
So even though she was innocent, they still put her in that truck.
had any kind of warrant out for them, even if it was unrelated to immigration, they would not be released.
Now, to some people getting detained for warrants, that ain't nothing new, right? Except when you consider that ICE and the police are two different things.
once again, the Most High God's chastisement of locking us up unfairly and being stopped by the police unfairly, we've been built up for this. You know, let that happen to a Karen or to another nation. They, this is outrage. You can't do this. They're flipping out. You know, Jake is used to this, though. You know what I'm saying? So God's chastisement, man, has been covering us. We didn't even know it, man. It's been preparing us.
Reason is because ICE and the police serve two different masters. And so when it comes to Black Americans threatened with deportation, you can't deport us. Everybody who's saying they can't deport Black Americans, you're correct. They can't. There's literally no law in any other country that demands that they take us. We are American citizens. Deportation ain't our problem. But unlawful detention, property destruction, and disappearance just may be. Now check.
All what he said, disappearance, property destruction, being thrown into prison, all those things is prophesied to come on us for our disobedience, right? We can't escape that. We can't escape them coming into our houses and destroying it. We can't escape them taking our sons and our daughters, right, from us. We can't escape them throwing us into prison houses. That stuff was prophesied against us. When it happens, it sucks. When it happens, it makes you want to cry. When it happens, it makes you want to kill somebody. It makes you want to, it makes you want to do some things. But it's of the Most High. As hard, as tough as it seems, it's of the Most High. I know it sucks as a parent to think of those things. It sucks as a child to think of those things. But it's from the Most High. The Most High God said, because of what our forefathers did, that those curses would be on us for those things to happen, right?
These pictures.
Something to say?
Property.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, just to kind of let me back on what you said. In the book of Ezekiel, he explains to Ezekiel that the nation of Israel must perish, and he tells Ezekiel, "Don't you shed a tear for him." And to show Ezekiel how serious he was, after he told him this, the very next day he woke up and his wife was dead, right? Letting him know he wasn't playing no games and letting him know how serious he was about offing the nation of Israel, right? And you bet not cry. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Like the brother was saying, it sucks. But hey, when the Most High declares something, he declares something.
Right, let's read that account, man. If one of the brothers could start here, Ezekiel 24:16.
I get it. Ezekiel 24:16. Son of man, behold, I take away from thee the desire of thy eyes with a stroke. Yet neither shall thou mourn nor weep, neither shall thy tears run down.
Right, now the brother Ezekiel, he might be like, what's the desire of my eyes? Most High God don't really know what's the desire of my eyes. It could be my dog, it could be my house, it could be my daughter. Nah, he know exactly what's the desire of your eyes. It's your wife. Verse 17.
Verse 17, it says, "Forbear to cry, make no mourning for the dead, bond the tire of thine head upon thee." Salakia, 1 second.
You good?
I got it. Ezekiel 24:17. Forbear to cry, make no mourning for the dead, bind thy tire of thy head upon thee, and put on thy shoes upon thy feet, and cover not thy lips, and eat not the bread of men.
Right. Hey, look, don't mourn the dead. Make it like a normal day. Get up, get ready, get dressed. Right? Don't dress. You know, somebody close died to them, they don't even want to get out of bed. He said, hey, look, get up, put your shoes on.
Hey, man, hey, our forefathers, man, them prophets back then was different, bro. Like, them brothers, like...
Yeah, you know, everybody nowadays, man, you know, a lot of Israelites come in this truth and they say the prophets are back. Everybody wants to be the prophets.
Right.
Oh, no, the prophets back then didn't want to be the prophets.
Right, man. A lot of times the prophets in the when you get into an altercation with somebody and you say, hey, look, I'm about to make you an example, right? There are a lot of times the prophets was the ones that was made an example for the people. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of times, I think Job asked to end his life. I think Moses asked to end his life. It's about 2 other people I think that asked to end their life as well, man.
I know Jonah tried to run.
Yeah. Jonah tried to run. Christ said, let this cup pass from me. The prophets didn't want to be the prophets. You know what I'm saying? The prophets didn't want to be the prophets, but here we are. We claiming to be the prophets back, be the prophets, they back. And a lot of us, the moment just some minor temptation hits us, the moment that happens, we fold it. The moment that happens, all hell breaks loose. Why would God do this to me? But God didn't
He's not dealing with me.
Right. He didn't kill your wife. He didn't make you eat cow poop. He didn't make you get hung on a cross. He didn't
make you marry a whore.
Right. He didn't make you marry a harlot. Some of y'all, I'll never be Captain Sable. Oh, I'll never. He didn't make you do none of that stuff. And if he did, would you do it? A lot of y'all wouldn't, man. So stop claiming to be a prophet if you want to take that title on, man.
That's crazy because I was literally maybe an hour and 15 minutes ago, maybe an hour ago, just talking to my wife about how, man, sometimes we don't realize as a people how good we got it in this day and age, man. Down to the simple, household tasks that we do. Sometimes, I was talking to my wife and she was telling me like how sometimes, she'll get frustrated, but I'm like, man, do you not understand? Like we got it really good because there's a lot of things that goes right on along with talking about Ezekiel. There's a lot of things that ancient men and women had to do that they didn't really necessarily want to do. And what better example than Ezekiel, man, a quick turnaround, his wife just died and he still had to go, do as the Lord instructed him to do. Sometimes we don't get a break in this life. And that's what people think that, life is just supposed to be peaceful, or after we reach certain milestones, we're supposed to be able to kick our feet up and chill. But realistically, man, there's a lot that comes with being a servant of the Lord, whether you're a man or whether you're a woman. There's a lot that comes with it. And a lot of times you really don't want it because it requires you to do exactly what your flesh doesn't want you to do, which is keep going, even in spite of whether you have it or whether you don't, whether you ain't got, whether you got it or whether you don't. But especially when you don't got it, you're supposed to show up. And that's what people think, like, that's just a misconception of today's time, that we just get that luxury, but we really don't.
Man, it's so crazy, man, because the Lord right here is really acting like a black father or a black mother. You get in trouble and you about to get that spanking, and you getting that spanking and it hurts, and your parents still tell you, stop crying. You better not cry. Why they beating you? You know what I'm saying? And the Most High is literally gonna kill his wife and expect him to wake up the next day and you bet not shed a tear.
Damn.
You bet not shed a tear.
Make you say damn.
How many of y'all will wake up in the morning, your husband gone, your husband done died, your wife done died, or one of your kids done died? Just think about it right now. Think about your wife right now. Think about your husband right now. Think about your kids. You to wake up in the morning and they have passed away, right? And let's put it like this. Not even the Most High, right? Say you woke up, your daughter was dead or your son was dead, right? And your wife told you better not shed a tear, or vice versa. Your husband told you, wife, you better not shed a tear. Some of y'all leave that nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Some of y'all be like, you're so heartless.
So insensitive.
You're not a godly man. Hey, look, a lot of people don't know the Lord, because the Lord creates emotion. The Lord creates death. He creates life. He has everything in the palm of his hand. So it's of his will. If you really love God and you really love God's will, hey, look,
you think the Lord cares about you being on this earth?
Right.
He don't care if you're on this earth or not. He can take you tomorrow.
Right. And this is the thing, man. When we think about even Job, I know we talk about Job all the time, and it's become almost a cliche. Everybody knows Job lost everything, but Job lost all his kids
and his wife.
And then, some people, you might have a bad breakout, got pimples on your face, and you kind of going through it. You don't want to leave the house and stuff. He had boils all over his body. I'm talking about boils, bro.
Nigga was looking nasty and disgusting.
Right. Sometimes you go out in public, somebody got that bad skin, you be like, and you be like, let me not even do that because I don't want it to come on me. But Job had that all over his body. And his wife turned on him and told him to turn on the Lord. You got to think about Job's situation. A lot of people couldn't have handled that.
And he had Edomites in his ear saying, bro, you really must be wicked, bro. I don't know what you're doing behind closed doors, nigga, but it ain't it.
They telling him that he doing something wrong. And so the thing is this, man, we got to be built up in this thing. I did a video yesterday, I believe, or not yesterday, the day before yesterday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. And I mentioned how you know if somebody is really favored by the Lord, and how to get favored by the Lord is you got to favor the Lord. And how you favor the Lord is you do what you don't want to do when he asks you to. It's not only, of course, when we come into obedience and we love God, we love the things of God. But a lot of times he might ask us, he's going to test us to do something that we don't want to do. And he's going to see if we do it or not, to be obedient. The thing that we don't want to do, he'll make it come upon us and see how we're going to react to it. Right? I want to read this real quick too. Wisdom of Solomon 1:12.
Wisdom of Solomon 1:12. Seek not death in the era of your life, and pull not upon your
death. Seek not death in the era of your life. A lot of us, we get the suicidal thoughts, right? When we make a mistake or when something goes bad in our life, we get the suicidal thoughts. The wisdom of God that was sent to Solomon says that they don't seek life, don't seek death in that moment. That moment could be teaching you something. You seeking death because it happened. Life can still go on though, and you can learn from that moment. That moment can change your life. It can change other people's lives. Right? Keep reading.
Con, and it says, and pull not upon yourselves destruction with the works of your hands.
Right? Don't cause destruction to your life with your own hands. If it's gonna be destruction in your life, let God do it. But don't do it yourself. Right? That's the mindset you gotta have, is that if you're still breathing, God still has time to change your situation around if you still breathing. So don't try to end it early, right? That's why a lot of the brothers that we mentioned, like Moses and stuff, they didn't end their own life. They asked God to end it. If you deal with me thus, please please take my life, because they didn't want to take their life, because they knew what? Not my will, but thy will be done, right? Let's read. Let's finish this in Ezekiel real quick. Ezekiel 24:18.
Con, Ezekiel 24:18. So I spake unto the people in the morning, and at even my wife died, and I did in the morning as I was commanded.
Right. So look, he spoke to the people in the morning while his wife was still alive. She didn't die till that evening, that night. So, hey, it hit him hard. It probably hit him hard. Go ahead.
And that could have, if Ezekiel would have shedded a tear, the Lord could have killed him because he was being disobedient. So just imagine you shedding a tear, because one of your loved ones died, and the Lord kill you, bro. Hey man, I don't want to be. I ain't a prophet. That's a different type of word right there, man. Just say messenger of the Lord.
And you can't even sometimes you can hold back your tears until you get by yourself and then you cry. Can't even do that with the Lord. He can see
helping it.
Right. And that's, again, bro, that's more proof to show that, in this life, we kind of get comfortable sometimes, man. We get comfortable with being unruly. We get comfortable with being out of order. We get comfortable with being taken care of. But there's going to come a day like we're moving towards now where we're going to have a famine of the word, and we're not even going to have the scriptures to reflect on when we're going through things. We're not going to be able to find the answer. And that's going to be the times where you're going to see where people's true selves, they're going to come out, and people are going to wish that they were dead. It's like almost like the curses where it talks about, we would say in the even, would to God to be morning, and we'd say in the morning, would to God to be even, because we're moving towards those days, man. Again, if you watching this video, you listening, you hear it, whether it be live or whether it be after it's live, man, so you got to count your blessings and realize in this life how blessed you truly are. Because if you're alive and you're able to hear it, there's still time for your situation to change if you're going through a bad one. Yeah. But at the same time, you just got to be ready if the situation gets worse.
Yeah, man. And the Most High God will have you eat your own words. How many times do we tell our kids, Our kids may be doing something, and you may be like, no, you can't have ice cream. They start bust out crying. No, you can't have that cookie. You can't have the cracker. You know you can't have it. They start busting out crying, and you say, what? What you crying for? Stop all that crying. The Most High God will have you eat your words, and He'll treat you like that, right? Something bad like what's on the screen happened to your apartment because the police came in there. You kind of want to cry because they done broke a lot of expensive stuff, and you got to clean up and all that. You know, the Most High God said, "What you crying for? What you crying for? Be cheerful when you change to a lower state, son." You know what I'm saying? Put a smile on your face. Fix your face.
Didn't I tell you this was gonna happen?
Right.
Man up.
Isn't it written?
Gird up your loins like a man.
See before your eyes. Just go now. Clean it up. Thank your ancestors. You know how, parents be like, thank your brother, thank your sister for this, right?
They got their houses broken into. They got their whole doors broken. They got their apartments overturned, and all sorts of property destruction that ain't gonna be paid for by nobody but them. In other words, it's gonna be hard for us to sit it out if ICE come break your couch. Of course, we already know that unlawful.
That nigga.
No punchline. No pun intended.
Happened to these Black American citizens, right? They were zip tied, left outside in various states of unrobed disrepair. Folks didn't have no clothes. So we know that their Fourth Amendment rights were violated. Damn the fact that they didn't have any warrants.
It is a thing, man. They know where to come and get Jake. Jake is in the projects. Jake is in Section 8. They know, and they know the Black neighborhoods and the Black apartments where parlay at, man. They know where to, if they want to have a good time, if they want to, if they want to just target one race of people and they know no other race of people gonna be there, they know where to go, man. It's not hard to find us. It's not hard to oppress us. If they get bored one night and they say, I know where we can find a lot of crime, we can find a lot of possible things that we can incarcerate people for. They know where to go, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you watch that movie, the first Purge, when the government was doing experiments on the projects, bro, they was going into the projects and they was basically like killing people in the projects, and all our people was in the projects. So like they know where we be at, and they gonna go in there and storm. That's crazy, bro. That was in that movie, man. The first Purge. That's crazy. They doing
know,
that now.
Look, they know where Bethlehem at. They know where Jerusalem at. When we think about in the Bible, man, when we think about Ezra and Nehemiah time, right? They knew the children of captivity was with them, but they knew that there were some people back in Jerusalem and they were getting persecuted, right? They knew even in the time of Esther, when Haman was against us, they knew where we were to persecute us, right? They always know where we are to persecute us. It's this one nation of people that do their own thing. And they always know we ain't hiding. We ain't hiding. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times the Most High God caused that to happen because of our sin, man. Because we're not hiding and we're not hid in the earth. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What about the third D? Disappearance. Take a look at this article published by Democracy Now! We have 1,200, count them, 1,200 people that literally disappeared. Their records gone from Alligator Alcatraz. And it would be one thing if their records were gone, but they could somehow be contacted. They can't be. Their families and attorneys cannot reach these people. They have been vanished. And
that's the one thing that, is kind of scary about being detained. Even in broad daylight, if you get pulled over and they say, can you step out your vehicle? I know we're supposed to do it. Can you step out your vehicle? They say, we're going to take you downtown. They put you in the back of their police car. They could be taking you anywhere. They could be abducting you in broad daylight, right? These curses get strong, man. You could disappear that fast. You was having a good day and you can be in hell and have nothing to do. Nothing you can do about it. Right? Let's get the next video. The next video I want to see is right here. Right. We had 50 minutes. This will be the last video we watch. Now, I'm playing this video because, you know, in 2019, 2020, when stuff was starting to hit the fan, I was like, man, I believe, you know, we got a good 7 years. I was like, we got a good 7. Trump is a good 7 years, man. You know, Trump had just taken office. The vid had happened, you know, we had martial law and rumors of war and stuff has taken place. I was like, man, we got a good 7 years, man, before life is never the same. I'm not saying it's the end of the world in 7 years, but it's 7 years before life is never the same. Now, what I'm about to play is claims that's been going viral, right? And, you know, of course, if you Google it and try to fact check it, they're going to say it's false. But who are we to know? But it's something to think about, right? If it was true or if it is true, right?
Bill Gates recently said that if you don't have the digital ID by 2028, you will be isolated from society. That's what? What? Isn't there a prophecy about that? Does that mean I can't buy and sell? If so, the time is close. Anyways, this is my driver.
That video kind of weird. That was kind of weird. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, her video is centered around conspiracies and Bible prophecy, and it's like her journey of her learning how to golf. So like she'll drop some knowledge, and then she'll
walk off.
Yeah, she'll drop some knowledge, and then she'll go in a golf cart or she'll go into a golf swing or whatever. But anyway, you know, like she said, man, Bill Gates. They're saying Bill Gates said that, you know, certain people will be isolated from society. This is why, you know, a lot of our people have grew accustomed to or have grown attracted to the idea of buying land and homesteading and being self-sufficient, because we're aware that the government has had too much control. Now, whether you believe that the mark of the beast is physical or spiritual, right? We do know that hard times are coming, right? And we do know that we need to gird ourselves up, right? Because when these things do come, it's going to be uncomfortable, right? It's going to be uncomfortable. And so the thing is, you know, you got to have these things on your radar. You got to keep up with this stuff. And you got to ask yourself, is my faith big enough to handle that? I want to close out just by reading a few verses in 2nd Ezra 16.
2nd Ezra 5 is also another chapter that, you know, when you read, sometimes it helps you get an understanding of times like this, where you're moving towards, you know, you can see more perilous things taking place on the earth. So 2nd Ezra is definitely a good read.
Second Ezra.
Where do I want to start?
Yeah, 2nd Ezra 15 not means, man, 2nd Ezra means. 2nd Ezra 15 mean too.
Come on, man. We'll start at verse 18. If a brother could read this.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 18. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death.
Right. What we've been talking about, right? Beginning of sorrows, mournings, famine, great death. All those things come like that, right? I know, you know, back a few 5 years ago, you know, I remember it was some small town, some small city in like the Middle East that got bombed, and videos was going around of that place and how it looked in just 1 hour, the damage, the radiation, the destruction. Hey, man, keep going.
The beginning of wars and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come?
And that's what we're making this video now. What you gonna do when these evils come? Are you gonna be prepared? Because evils will come. Even if it's just you living in Chicago, living in a black neighborhood, thinking you don't have to worry about nothing, and then somebody coming and breaking your door and tearing your place from limb to limb for no reason. You're thinking, man, what in the world these evil people, why, what am I? You never thought what you would do when them evils came. Right? Verse 19.
Verse number 19, it says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment.
Right. They're sent to us, man. They're sent because the world, the earth got to make amends. So judgment has come. For the longest time, everybody been, the world's been living, untouched. God ain't been judging. He's been judging his people, but God ain't been judging the world, though. He ain't been judging the Asians. He ain't been judging these Indians. He ain't been judging these Caucasians. He ain't been judging. But now it's time to make amends. Verse 20.
Verse 20, but for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness.
People aren't going to be able to discern this is judgment. Let's get right.
Nor be always mindful of the scourges.
Them Jake that's living in Chicago, that's getting abducted and that's getting their apartments ran through. They still going to be wicked. They still going to be scamming. They still going to be cheating, committing adultery, all of that. They're not going to put two and two together. God judging us. They're not, it's not coming to their mind that that's what's happening. They thinking it's just another day in America. Verse 21.
Verse 21, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion.
Hey, so when they say peace and safety and sudden destruction, I know prices is high now, man. I know it's hard to get groceries, all that. But this is letting you know it's going to be a time where you think things is getting better, where the prices is coming back down. Trump has this thing with these tariffs, right? And if what he's saying is true, he's pretty much playing chicken, right? He's raising these tariffs to show these other nations we don't need them so that they would lower their prices, and so our prices will eventually be lower. If that happens, we're looking at verse 21. The victuals themselves seem like they're cheap upon the earth. Every nation has lowered their prices. It seems like everything is good. But right before you know it, when peace and safety comes, then guess what? The sword, war is going to come, famine is going to come, great confusion. Because if everything is cheap, everything going to get bought up. Verse 22.
Verse 22, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
Hey, you're going to see a lot of death, man. I know some of us, we haven't seen a lot of death in our life. It's going to get to a point to where it's normal. You're going to see a lot of death. It's going to be a point to where, you don't even need to post about it on Instagram. So nowadays, if somebody gets shot in the street, it's getting posted on Instagram. It's going to be so much death. It's going to be normal. Right? Verse 23.
Verse 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down.
Right. And that could look like many things, man. They could be casting their bodies away like dung into the ground to be burnt or to be buried because of disease or whatever. Like, you never know.
And it can all happen so fast too, man. Just as fast as Ezekiel's wife was unalived, that's how fast it can happen. We can be in a month, it can happen a week from now or a month ago, and we can be thinking back to this week like, dang, I remember just a week ago everything was good. I got a good night's sleep. I had no care in the world. I had food in the fridge. How did we end up here? It's the same thing that happened kind of for during COVID, you know what I'm saying? And then people look back on it and be like, dang, man, I remember them 24-hour Walmarts. Never again. You know what I'm saying? Life can change just like that.
We'll read this last precept. Wrap it up.
Verse 24 says, there shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it.
Right. It's gonna be a heavy time, man, to where I know you want that garden. I know you want that livestock, them cows. I know he's planning to get a house and do the homestead thing. You're not gonna get the chance. Some of us not gonna get the chance, right? But man, with that, I'm gonna say shalom. I hope this video was edifying, encouraging, and I hope it, it was faith building, right? Because we gotta be reminded to always build our faith and pray for faith. A lot of times we don't pray for faith because so much is going on in our lives from day to day, but we gotta pray for faith, man, because we're gonna need it. Increasing faith. So with that, man, we're the hopefully elect, right? This has been another Freestyle Friday. Like our big brother Christ say, if you're not gathering the flock, you scattering the flock. You scattering the sheep, right? We got to gather together, O nation not desired. And till next time, Lord willing, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Peace.
Shalom.